The following video was pre-recorded on twitch.tv/codedman9000. More information on the stream times at the end of the video. Previously on Stone to Space.
For the start of Chapter 3, we went to Kerbal Space Program to learn how to make rockets so that we could explore the stars for a new home. We began playing on career mode while not knowing anything about what we were doing. After doing some research off-stream, we then moved to the science mode with newfound knowledge. We went to both moons, created communication networks, planes, science missions, a space station, and then ended the game by traveling all the way to Duna in the Antari ship.
After arriving at Duna, our ship the Antares fell apart, causing us to land on Duna and mine its resources so that we could fix the Antari ship. We unlocked various buildings, and also different types of science. After fixing everything but scanners on the ship, we then left the planet behind us as we continued to travel in space. Partially during our space flight, we landed on an asteroid. Over the course of a few hundred cycles, we had mined out the asteroid, converting its resources into various things that we needed in order to keep 24 dupes alive. We made a lot of automated machines to take, cool, or convert items into other items. We then turned on a machine that would allow us to take a dive into the dreams of one of our dupes. Hello and welcome to a Twitch Plays Along series called Stone to Space. Today we're in Chapter 3, Space Travel. Today we are playing Oxygen Not Included. As I was saying, the petroleum generators. Because we were trying to get power restored after landing our rocket once again. And we are getting the petroleum going into the base, which is getting more oil through it. It's priming itself. It's getting better. We're just going to have sections where we don't have anything for a few seconds before it goes through the whole loop system. Now, it also does not help with the fact that we're not constantly running the alcatuners, but we should be running this constantly so that we can still pump out the petroleum. So things should still be working. I'm debating on breaking into here just to fix the steel pump because it's starting to bother me that that's the only thing that's broken, and it won't actually hurt us because we have polluted oxygen in here. The polluted oxygen out here won't actually damage anything. As long as we don't get oxygen and polluted oxygen in here, we're fine. When you have two gases, it breaks the infinite liquid storage. So we're gonna have to hope that the oxygen stays where it is and doesn't fall. But I am actually gonna come in here and deconstruct 2 blocks just so we can fix that steel pump. Now they are still trying to make more stuff over here. We're making fullerene. What does fullerene turn into again? I know the graphite is used for super coolant, but I don't remember what the thermium. I would like to know how much thermium we have. Oh, almost a ton. Nice. So they should be queued up to come in here and fix this pump. I just don't know when it's going to happen. And the oxygen so far hasn't fallen down. How much is in this, actually? 400,000. The oxygen is actually going to fall down at some point. Because it's a smaller amount. They fixed the pump. We're gonna sweep up this debris. Actually, it didn't fall down. Huh. We're gonna sweep up the debris, and then this should be able to be built back in. In terms of them picking up things manually, I don't think we have them manually sweeping anything aside from the water down here, so duplicate and labor should be at a surplus, aside from trying to fix things that are broken. Now, I do have this Draco that has not been killed for a while, so I'm gonna raise the priority on that. Now, why do I have 5 critters in here? Did I not include the adults for this? I did not. Okay, that's why. So we'll add the adults, and then when one dies, they won't refill it. In terms of the super coolant, how cold is it? It's going in at... Oh, wait for the next packet. At 37, it's coming out around 50, so we are getting colder. That should mean that there's no metal in here, but for some reason... Still going... Oh, right! None of this is going to leave because the filter isn't working right now. And that's because of power issues. All this is going to work over time. Actually, there's a lot of gas in here. I don't know if I want to power it just yet. I'm not sure. One of the things that stopped us from being able to get all this stuff taken care of is the fact that we're using so many auto sweepers at the bottom of the base here. So this is all on the main power spine, drawing power constantly. But as we finish picking up stuff in the right side, we will be able to deconstruct them and save more power. Let's actually tell them to sweep up whatever the last auto sweeper is covering. And that might make things go a little bit quicker, because if they drop it after picking it up from over here, we have an auto sweeper that's going to move it over. So it's not like if they drop it somewhere, they won't be able to help. They're still helping either way. Alright, in here, we still have one gas, but we need to do one tile at a time to fix this. Luckily, we shouldn't be overheating the area too much. We are getting a little bit of heat out here, but we're also getting heat from the power stuff. I'm thinking for maybe like the last thing we ever do on this asteroid, we might make one outrageously large cooling loop around the entire asteroid, just to keep the entire asteroid at a livable temperature and not have anything overheat outside of things. Like, the transformer here is constantly creating power, and so is this stuff. So if we put a cooling loop out here, this stuff won't continue making the asteroid hotter. Alright, this is now working infinite liquid storage again. Now this is draining fast. I think we do want to add in a couple more batteries. So I'm just gonna place them in now. Of course, with the power line. We don't need more people. Like, we don't need more generators. Because we are still filling it in with just 2 people running at a time. They'll take longer to fill in these, but they will still be able to power them up, because we've already accomplished doing that without the extra batteries. This, on the other hand, we're still trying to find the sweet spot. Let me do the math on this. So at any given time, we want more than 20 or 240 times 4. Which is 960. So with everything running, aside from the fertilizer thing, which doesn't always run, we're ignoring that 120 watts. This whole system is 960. We are only creating 800 at a time, so we're at a deficit of power. We do need a third dupe running on this. So, what I'm thinking is to move things so that we have more space up here for running, which will take a little tiny bit to set up. One of the things that's really going to hurt us is that I'm going to have to deconstruct this transformer, just so I can move it over. Actually, no, I don't. We're going to add one more tile here and another transformer right here, which will then turn into this one. So if I add power to it now, let's actually keep it in the ground for over here. If I do that, we can just deconstruct this transformer and have more space. The next thing is to do it over here as well, moving stuff. So let's take this up to here, and I guess this could just tie right back into it. We're going to move this up. It's going to require us to move the power up as well. This transformer is going to be right here. So I'm just going to go like this. That will keep everything connected once they build everything. We're going to deconstruct this. We're going to end up probably moving it somewhere else. So I'll keep that bridge there just because that is already built, but the rest is going to come out. Copy this to here. And then I need to deconstruct this. And that should stop everything from doing weird stuff. It might actually release gases, so if I just do this, we'll stop releasing or moving gases around. They built in the transformer. We're apparently getting enough power that they don't have to do anything over here, but I want to make sure that they can run this entire thing when we lose power so that we can continue making power. Okay, now that they did that, we can connect this back in. And I'll also deconstruct those two pipes. You get placed over here, which means this power spine has to come over. And I can deconstruct that line. And this has to stay there until we connect it in. How much would I need to keep this running? 480? We could probably do it with just one dupe running. Because I don't think everything over here is going to be running at one time. So being a little bit over 400 is fine for this. Alright, let's deconstruct this. Not sure why it's powering this and then that. Welcome in, Gino. Congratulations on being first. Okay, then this can be deconstructed. I'm still working on getting something set up for Gino's walk-on. Generator, battery, power line, which is going to be changed to be like this. Then we get to move this stuff around. So this is going to be a manual generator. That's going to be another generator. And then we have an odd spacing of stuff here, but there's going to be 2 batteries. I just want them to build this, and then I can still deconstruct this. Even though we do have the transformer working now. Wait a minute, are the transformers working in the order that I placed them? Is that what's going on right now? That is what it seems like. That's how the power is going to be working later on. Alright, sweep up that, sweep up all of this. They got another battery, luckily it's being added. I'm going to deconstruct that generator because we have the batteries working now. That's a battery. This is going to be deconstructed. And the generator is going to go there. Okay. That's saying no power connection because we don't have it all the way in, but it does have a power line behind it. And now priorities. We want this on a 9. This right here, we're going to put it on a 6. It's kind of important, but it's not majorly important. They should be doing that over sweeping. So now we should be making a little bit more power than we're using, which should be keeping the batteries at full capacity, which it is so far. We're still gaining power, but we are going to be at full capacity in the future. Let's get rid of those 2 power lines. And then that's... should be it. That should keep us making a constant oil, so long as our water also does not run out. Alright, so in turn that should help us with power. We can start deconstructing more stuff down here. That's another 240 power. Oh no, it's 120 watts back that we get to use somewhere else. And then we're of course going to queue up this entire area to be swept. Now, on the other hand, we do have a regular pod. While we're at it, let's start our first prediction of today. So in the top left corner, that little blue button, is it going to give us another piece of tops, bottoms, or buildings, decorations, or wallpaper? You guys have 10 minutes to decide, starting now. In the meantime, I think we're ready to take this rocket out again. We do need to get rid of the slime. This steam is still not hot enough to start being used. So we're gonna need a couple more rocket launches to get out of this. We also don't have a reason for this to stay getting hotter, aside from the opportunity that will work later on. We're probably going to need to use a radiator to cool the steam turbines up here, unless I put drywall behind it. Alright, what we're going to be doing today's plan is to go back to Watelin and get all the granite, or not granite, all the graphite, and also make a... So I got distracted by the bottom of the asteroid. Make a small spam with the oxygen room. Just gonna need a double lock where it's gonna be pumping out water into a infinite liquid storage. And right now I don't know where all this water is going. It's draining somewhere, so it's probably still filling in way down here. A lot of this stuff is going to say that it is over pressurized, because it typically is, but up here is not, so it's probably raising and lowering multiple times. We do have a little bit of copper ore so we can make doors and such. Let's send the rocket over here doing regular stuff. We're gonna want this rocket, I think. This should be one digger. We do want a builder. Do we need willow as well? Let's do the whole group. So we should have 5 people. That's Gino, Willow, the digger and builder. Then we have Dupe and Sophie, so that's another digger and builder, and then Papa Rasputin. We're gonna send this rocket. Now what I should do is really switch this to over here. There's not much room, so we're not actually going to do that. Once the autosave is done, we're going to set off. Now, when we go, normally I would try and keep as much oxygen in the suits as I can, but I don't think I need to for this run. So instead, we're just gonna set them off. While they are making their way over there, we're going to be focusing on sweeping up the bottom of the asteroid and keeping our power system running. Setting out the rockets isn't going to affect the power line, but bringing them back will. And I think we might want to move the rockets over about 10 tiles. Because it is probably heating up this area more than needs to. That's an issue for the future. Alright, I'm not sure if there is actually anything else for us to do other than wait. We did get all the water down here taken care of because of this metal tile. With us keeping this at a higher temperature, we should now stay above a temperature for the water to automatically flash into gas. How is the iron doing? The iron is actually moving around. We do have this being cooled. Now the iron doesn't necessarily have to be cooled. We're kind of cooling down the steam room by doing this. But I want this in here anyway. On second thought, we might actually change this. Why cool the steam room if we don't have to? We might bypass the room here. Now things like the sulfur should go in there. We had this go straight across. It wouldn't really heat up the oil. We can go straight up. We have the iron bridge over and then go straight in. Alright, let's start building this. Over to here, I think, and then straight up. We'll do that, and then this is going to come straight across. That's not going to be there, so I think we're going to bridge over, which I need to figure out how much cobalt ore. Actually, why are we using cobalt? We should be using the iron ore. I think it's using cobalt because that's what this is over here. Iron ore, please. Bring this over to here, and then I am... Let's actually just go straight up and bridge onto here. So it is going to have to jump across here to get to this, and then this will come up and bridge onto there. Which we can set up beforehand, if they get to that point. We can also put the bridge here too, because it won't hurt anything. They should be able to reach every single one of these. It does look like they're building it. Is that stuff just coming in and not needing to be cooled down? Huh. That's pretty cool. For something that was super hot, to not have to be cooled down at all. This stuff has to get cooled down for sure. Maybe not. It went in at like 100 degrees and it's not that hot anymore. Wow. So that super coolant is working pretty well. We should be doing okay now with the power. If I look at the power spine. Currently using... Let's round this up to the highest number. I saw 30... Oh, 32 actually. We'll say 32 kilowatts. We are making 10 kilowatts per second, so we need an extra 30 kilowatts worth of steam turbines. These up here for some reason are not running. That's because this isn't hot enough, because we've been destroying the gases probably too quickly. Maybe I want to, no, good, never mind. I was gonna say maybe I want to put this on the same line as here. But then if we overpressurize like we are right now, we won't be deleting any of that. But on the other hand, like someone pointed out in a previous stream, I could move these gas vents into an infinite gas storage. So we don't have to worry about it overpressurizing. Because right now this is filling up and soon that won't work anymore. Don't know what to do there. I also don't think that they're sweeping up anything down here. Right, pod, we'll grab some aluminum ore. How did they do with this? It's probably just two dupes doing this, so they're doing it pretty quickly. And I might as well put in the bridge here so that it immediately starts working on this. We will have to disconnect it though in the future when they build this line all the way in. Right now this bridge isn't going to do anything, it's not going to stop them from going. It just grabs a piece and puts it on the line that it's going to be on in the future. How long until they get there? Half a cycle. By the next morning. I count how many we're gonna count how many steam turbines I have. so that I can see what will happen if they're all running. 3, 6, 9 down there. Six, 12. 1, 2, 3, another 6. 2, 5. Nothing above that, plus another 6. That's 38 steam turbines, and if they all turn on, they create 850 watts at max power, which is actually, if we have every steam turbine turned on doing full power, the steam turbines alone will run the entire asteroid, because it's 32 kilowatts. So if we can get this hot enough that it starts to work, we will never have a problem in here. So I wonder if that will mean we won't have to get rid of any of the gases in here as well. Alright, we're gonna make an infinite gas storage for carbon dioxide, like someone recommended. I would normally put it up here so that we can keep all the gas storages together. I'm not sure if I want to this time. I do want to get inside them and fix what broke, because that's gonna bother me if we don't fix it. I'm gonna first come in here and fix this. We're gonna take a tiny bottle of oil and put it there. And by tiny, I mean we're actually gonna take a bottle emptier and put that there. No, we're not. We'll mop it up. Just go like that, and hopefully somebody fixed that. Oh, the conveyor rails are fixed now, so I can disconnect this. Put that in, and nothing is over here, so we can disconnect here. Which means I can get rid of all of that. And then I can get rid of all of this. I can delete the power and the filter, and then connect these all together. That should all make sense when they get around to deconstructing it. I'm going to stay looking at this so we can both see this being mopped and them destroying the stuff that we don't want. So that's the old iron line that they just got rid of. And now they're separating the debris, which is now going up and in here. The iron will slowly heat up the entire asteroid. But I think we're okay with that for right now. We did get a person that mopped up some of this. I want this relocated right here. 7, please. Also gonna want that there. Hopefully they put the bottle there and I'm able to empty it before they built the tile. or we can destroy the tile before they pick up the thing. We also have the rocket on the other asteroid already. They've probably been sitting there for a cycle doing nothing. So what I want to do... Well, we're going to need to make some amount of gas, or if we build the thing up here, we should be fine. Let's focus on this for a second. If I recreate that, it would be... like that. Pump. Drain. Some sort of pipe. Power. I am gonna make these out of tiles. They don't have to be made out of tiles for this. That goes right there. That should be the entirety of what we need to build. I'm actually going to do that just for more of a square build. Alright, they can build that as they get around to it. I want to focus on Wadato so that they don't do this the wrong way. Who made a mess? Gino made a mess because Curious Sputnik is probably grounded. There we go. They did make the tile. They probably should have did the oil first. Now that I'm thinking about it. I'll deconstruct that. I heard a noise. I don't see what the noise is. Oh, is it them why are they going to the bottom? They're going down there for igneous rock rather than using sandstone. So I will cancel all of these tiles. I think the only other thing that would be sandstone are the pipes, or igneous rock, I mean. So we'll cancel those and do this. So I can build that, and then I want to dig all of that so they get more sandstone used. Now I need somebody to move this oil. That's semi-rock, that's not what I want to look at. I put it on an 8. Slicky is now doing it. Sweep up all that because I can't reach it from somewhere else, and anything that's in there. Slicky, leave the oil on. You're going back to the oil, so leave it alone. It is now set to be an no, Slicky. You know what? You left oil, so I'll let you move that. But this, however, I want this emptied soon. Doopy is coming over here to empty that, so I'm gonna go to the sedimentary rock, tell them to sweep that up. And also build this tile. And then all that extra oil is gonna go down somewhere. It shouldn't affect any of the debris being moved. But once I build this tile, we can get in here. Because this should create a liquid block. And then we're going to try to use that same amount of liquid everywhere else. I might even come in here and switch that out. So let's deconstruct 6. Right? Two of these, we need 3 pedestals, so yeah, 4 of them should be all 6. Why did that turn off? Less power, gotcha. We're gonna need a different way of powering this. 2 manual generators only powers 2 of these pumps, or 1 gas at a time. Do we even need our gases anymore? I don't think we need our gases anymore. I'm going to deconstruct just these 2 tiles, because I think if we deconstruct just one, we should be able to see whatever's broken. Because we can build from 2 tiles away. But they can't build this without being able to see into the room. Alright, now that that's taken care of, let's put the pedestals in there, which is a furniture. Yeah, that should enable them to be able to see the wire and fix it. Cue that up to have crude oil and all of it. How are they doing over here? They finished that whole thing. Awesome. We don't have a second liquid here, or do we? That is a saltwater geyser. If we get in there, we can get salt water from that. So let's build ladders over to here so we can break into that. We need a little bit of salt water for infinite gas storage of the spawn. And I'm going to put the room that we're going to have as oxygen down here. Which will actually be filled in with oxalate for a little bit. If we had a scientist that could analyze this. It says they're willing to do it, but they shouldn't be able to. They should also unlock the rest of the asteroid we can't see. Anyway, Hudato. They have not fixed this yet. And that is due to shenanigans. If I deconstruct it and rebuild it, it should be fixed. We'll grab some ethanol. Free food is good. On second thought, let's see if they just can't reach it because they can't get to it. I also want to make sure that all of these are queued up. So now if I look at this, does it have an errand? No, it does not. Okay. We're still going to deconstruct it then. How are they doing over here? How is the food situation? That's rad pills. We're at 60. We could survive for 12 cycles over here. So we'll definitely have to take another trip here before we have that as a livable area. Deconstructed the power line, so let's build that back in and sweep all that on a 7 so I can get it out of here. I'm also going to put this all on a 7. Since it shouldn't take them too long to do all that. Once they take this cobalt, we should be ready to go to build this back in. And then I get the joy of building it over here. So if I deconstruct that, then this. Tile there. This will have the oil. Is there a way for us to stop this? Probably only by building a few tiles above it, because I want to get in here and have this fill up with salt water. So let's build a wall as far as we can. We're not going to be able to get to that right away, so let's dig here and here. That should stop the water even if it continues going up for a little bit. And I do want to work this water out of here. Well, build it, Sophie. You don't have to look at it. Back to Wadata. They built that. Grab this oil. Move it over. While we are here, and it is the start of the next hour, let's do our first prediction. We have 30 points in wallpaper, so I hope you win. And it is actually wallpaper. So congratulations, you're getting your points back. We'll start the next one in about 15 minutes. Now, I don't want to switch to the other asteroid. By the way, I found the Atmos suit that I was expecting by the forge. But I want to make sure that we can move this crude oil before they pick it up. Are they able to leave the base? They are. We're just low on duplicates that can. They made all the crude oil that they can. I don't want to empty. I want to relocate to here. An issue I may have is that the oil up here is going to fall, And we're gonna have to reapply. So what I'm actually gonna do is find a way to create an actual liquid lock. You know, instead, we're just gonna redo this. Because I can probably build into it, pushing the liquid into here. I would like to just go from the top. That'd be the easiest way to do this. But I can't do it from the top without deconstructing power sources or combining gases. Maybe instead of going up, we'll just deconstruct this. I don't know, chat. I think what I'm gonna do is do this. They're moving the oil. Hopefully when they empty it, it'll still stay right there. Oh, they're not going to be able to build that, or get in here if they build that. In order to save the oil, we'd want to go down here, with this being the oil. Which then we actually want this over here. Alright, I have a plan. It's going to take a little bit of setup, and it's going to be weird. But this will mean that we don't lose any of the oil that we already have in here. When we get over to this side, we're going to have less of a problem because we're getting rid of this water. And I can come in from the side instead. So I actually want to build right there so that this oil doesn't go up. We're going to build a tile right here afterwards. So I'll let them figure all this out. We should probably also build this in so that it is gas storage and ladders like this. We don't need 3. We do want that though. This will create an air lock here. Okay, so now when I build this in, it should move that oil to right here. And we don't want to build this tile first and then build that in, or else the oil will get deleted. So I'm hoping what Regis does is moves the oil over, and he did. Perfect. That's not a vacuum, so we need to put in one more tile. Let's go back to Watelin. They did build that in, so let's do one more over. It looks like the water is draining from here and going up the right side of the base, or the colony. I mean, it's going up and down, but it looks like it's going down more than it's raising. They used all of the sandstone that's up here, or that was up here, so let's dig more. so they don't have to keep going down to the bottom where they're not able to reach. One more tile. Actually, 2 more tiles. Because I'm going to try and climb in from right here. It's going to be a tiny bit dangerous. I might actually want to build tiles here to stop them. Or we could just build ladders going straight down. I think we'll build ladders going straight down. So let's cancel that. We're going to deconstruct these tiles and just build downwards into here. What are these made out of? Sandstone? Perfect. We do have the ability to deconstruct all this, though. But I'll give them extra stuff to use. It shouldn't take them too long to do all that, so I'm not worried about them not being able to breathe. Let's check on the food, because we are going to have to... We need to take them home now. I don't know where all the food disappeared to, but let's see if they can make it home. Should be everyone in there. Now, luckily, our rocket exhaust is going to be the gas that we're going to use. Because it doesn't matter how much gas we have, we just need a gas. Well, there is unfortunately a little bit of steam now. It is making its way. Actually, it might more or less be turning or venting out into the space before it returns. Alright, I need to look at the autosave times. So if we're going to reload the cycle before this, to hopefully have more food, we're going to have to go back to just after we did our prediction. But if we go back to this cycle, it would have been only 2 minutes ago. So that's something to keep in mind as we do this. Alright, all of this is ready. So we're gonna have to put a ladder in at least right here, I think. Or no, right here. Because then they can just jump up 2 blocks. That. And this. This should be a vacuum. Even if this, or when this oil drops, we're still gonna have a vacuum from the natural gas. Something we could do is just have all of this oil connected rather than having a tile in between. I knew a little bit was going to go down there. Alright, hopefully they can get in here and fix this wire. It's saying that they can't for some reason. I don't know what's going on with them not being able to do it. They actually don't even need to fix that wire because it's not connected to anything. So we did all this just to move that. Or just to deconstruct it, I mean. what I'm thinking about doing, just to help us later on, is actually extending how far away the gases are from each other. Just so I can get into each one a little bit easier. So I kind of want to math this out. But also, if I just sweep this up. Yeah, we're gonna leave this broken for a moment because I want to do the math on this. So there would be 3 tiles here that'll allow us to get up and into both of these separated. Because we can either go from the top down and put just a little bead of oil or something down there and not have to worry about it. This can stay connected, so it would actually get moved to over here. Because we need 5 tiles for this, right? No, we need 6 tiles from here, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I didn't miscount here. Which would push this over 1, 2, 3. Oh, that doesn't look right. It is, but it doesn't look right to me. So that's the chlorine. Then we would have another 3 tiles so we can separate these 2 gases to be in it. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This would be the new hole for this. And I think the easiest way to fix this is to move it from this side over first. So let's cancel all of this. And start building this in and vacuuming it out. We can put in all the other stuff right away if I cancel that, and then we just build the gases and stuff. So this is actually not going to be crossing anything anymore. This, however, is going to be crossing over that and going to here. Where is that even getting hydrogen from? Way up here. Oh, the second spawn. Gotcha. So we're getting a tiny bit of stuff from. Let's also do this section as well. Can't do that until these are deconstructed. Down here, whether by dupes or by the auto sweepers, has been swept up. Is this the oil? It is the oil. Should probably just take oil off of this so that they don't try to pick it up. And then I can just mop it. Right, how are they doing? They have 1.5 cycles. Food-wise, Willow can just about make it. Sophie might not make it. Gino's close to not making it. Papa Rasputin, the pilot, will make it. Dupe will make it. So we're gonna keep going and seeing if they're gonna die. If nobody dies by cycle 2184, then we're fine. If somebody does die, we're gonna have to reload the cycle starting 10 minutes ago, or close to it. We're gonna try not to start the one that began at the beginning of the hour. I should probably not have this connected right away, so that we don't keep adding gases into this. Actually, if we disconnect this whole thing, that'll actually help us remove the gases from in here faster. We do have the oil prepared and ready for us to move everything. And I think instead of building these two tiles, we'll leave them there. Let's make a makeshift liquid lock up here. So there's going to be a tile right there. We would need to get rid of that power line. Unless we go down. Like that. So if we put the liquid lock here, just make sure all this is the right wire. It is. Awesome. So I'm gonna need all of this to not be piped out onto the hydrogen vent, because we need to make this a vacuum. So it's gonna go right there onto a high pressure valve. How are they doing out here? 0.8, we are having our first starvation issue from Small Town Sophie. They may make it all the way here. Don't know. Because these aren't exact times. 0.8 cycles. It just turned to 0.7, so if Sophie has more than 700 grams, she should be fine. Kilograms. Yeah, she has a little bit more, so she might be able to run all the way down. So she's the only one that's on here. She's the first one and the closest to starving. With 900 kcals. So she has 0.2 cycles, if I'm right, to get from the rocket all the way to food and eat. Okay, we have a spot for oil, so I'm gonna mop this up and move that oil. Actually, we don't have to mop that oil. We can mop the oil that we already know is enough, and yes, this is going to fill in with gases, but we have a liquid lock right here, so we're fine. We do have 2 people now starving. It's Sophie and Gino. Half a cycle. Let's relocate this oil over here. Another person getting close to starving. Going 3 cycles. Okay, we have a liquid lock now. Once I put the power in, this can immediately start vacuuming out the area. I'm gonna start moving all of the oil now. Now, we're doing all this, and I don't even know if I'm gonna have it all saved. Because I have no idea if the dupes are gonna die. I also am gonna sneeze. At some point. I'll better. Alright, is the rocket gonna land soon? 60 seconds. It went back to 0.2 cycles. I don't know why. Oh, I think the pilots were changing. So if somebody who's not a pilot takes over the rocket, it flies slower. Okay, this is them hopefully landing. Come on, don't give me the error. There's a ditto in chat. Let me, a quick second. Come on, where's the rocket? No! A dupe's dying because of this. We're gonna reload this cycle. Just so I can make that not entombed. Because even if I put that on a high priority to be dug, I don't think they're gonna dig it quick enough for us to save the dupes in the rocket. I didn't realize that that was entombed. I know our rocket platform on the other asteroid, or teleport connected one, is entombed, but I didn't know that this one was as well. We didn't lose too much for this cycle, but I do need to go to right here. Make that an emergency dig. Preferably before the rocket lands. Luckily, it's only dirt. Alright, while it's doing that, let's come over here and get this set up again. I do know I paused the game, even though I said we're gonna do this while the other stuff was happening. Alright, let's see if they make it. Should be landing any second now. Hopefully before we get starvation number 4. Here it comes. I think that's everyone out of the rocket. Nope, there is still somebody in the rocket. They just got out. It is Dupe. Dupe is not part of the list. It's just Sophie right now. Now Dupe is part of the list, but they're here already, so they're fine. So it looks like we got everyone here just in time. We do have a little bit of soggy feet from P right here. So now we're going to dip down in power again because we're using the petroleum for the rocket. But the rocket did just fill up completely, so we shouldn't be too long without power. Alright, so we should be, in a way, fine in here. This oxygen and polluted oxygen shouldn't take too long to get rid of. Actually, it says it's just oxygen in here. Now, another thing I can do is just build tiles in here and then deconstruct them all to get rid of the gas. We might do that. The water's a little bit in trouble. How are we doing on Persephone? So remember we had a lot of water on the ground. We do still have a lot of water on the ground. It doesn't look like we're using any water from in here, because we have so many bottles on the ground. This area looks fine. We have some sulfur going through the debris chiller. What's up here? Sulfur at -3. Who's starving? Papa Rasputin, how are you starving? Oh, they're probably in here. This needs to not be there. This one is also grounded. Alright. We saved everyone just in time. I am trying to figure out a way to get battery on this. We could probably just put a small battery right next to it, and that would probably help. Because I don't think that is connected batteries. Actually, it is, way up here. Never mind. We don't need batteries on there. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. They're not moving the oil. I don't know what they're prioritizing. Another section of this is done. We're getting close to having everything done. Because these guys are only doing one item at a time now. There's no other large amounts of items like right here there are. Alright, why are they still not doing this yet? I'm going to deconstruct those because we're going to build tiles in here to get rid of the gases. And our second prediction, let's start it. So on the top left corner, little blue button, is that going to be tops, bottoms, buildings, decorations, or wallpaper? You guys have 10 minutes to decide, starting now. We will do the prediction at the start of the next hour. Or right when it's done, if I can notice in time. Let's start telling them to build these tiles in now. Did they drop one down here? They did, right there. We tell them to empty that. That'll be the first couple blobs of oil that we have in here. We're gonna wait for them to relocate this one. Actually, is it still being relocated? It is. We just don't have anyone available for it yet. Let's do a regular pod. Looks like they relocated everything, so let's empty this. Oh! For some reason it's a vacuum already. I don't know how it became a vacuum. We had oxygen in here. Maybe a dupe came in here and breathed it in? So we can actually deconstruct that and this. Weird. Don't know how we got that. Okay. Turn that on. We want to deconstruct this. And all of this, some of it of which is in a debris chiller. Yeah, I'm gonna queue it to be deconstructed. Once that bridge gets deconstructed, we're gonna put the bridge over here. And then it should all be fine. Excuse me. Alright, now everything in here, we are going to open this up a little bit, so that should be those four, then 2, then another 2, then another 2, and then getting into here is going to be an issue. So let's go from below. Build all that back in. Okay, that gives us a little bit of hydrogen. Let's connect this in. Deconstruct all of that. And instead of over here, we're going to do our tile trick over on this side to push all the gas out. Then we get to build all this power stuff over here. Which I'm sure won't give us any issues at all. I, on the other hand, want to know why this isn't being fixed. So we're going to have to deconstruct this and replace it. There's a Venonat in chat. That's another Gen 1 Pokemon. I'm sure everyone has it. What's going on with duplicate labor? Guessing they're all doing other things. We did get another section done. Let's deconstruct all that. Now, the power going over to the left, do we need this? We do need it still connected in until we get all the way over to here. So we're not going to be deconstructing any more power from here on. Liquid phosphorus, they'll do that eventually. We do now have the ladders in, so let's get in here so we can deconstruct that pipe. Another thing we have to do is figure out how many of these are not going to be here. So we're going to deconstruct this. That gas pipe's going to stay right where it is. These are not. The rest will get deconstructed later on. This gets one of those. Because these two are going to be separated. These two are going to be right next to each other like they are now. Fortunately, the oil did not go up and instead merged with this. Now we need to get this deconstructed so we can build there. They got in there to deconstruct the other thing. Sweep that up. How are they doing down here? They probably came down here and deconstruct everything. You can reach everything but right here. Tell them to sweep all that. Once they do that, we'll tell them to sweep up all this, which is right next to a relocator. Or, not a relocator, a transit tube. Put that tile back in. Continue building over. This will be insulated pipes once we get to that point. But we are not ready for that yet. I probably should move all this power stuff to below this system so that I can get into this easier. I don't know yet. We are almost done, by the way, though. Are we ready to send the rocket off again, or are we just causing issues with petroleum? I think we were just causing issues. If we could have these steam turbines going, we would probably be better. So we are working on getting this fixed, but not fast enough. Once we have this done, we can do the carbon dioxide and then worry about everything else later on. Technically, everything here is working right now. This should be getting natural gas, which it is. That's those tiles, build there and here. Once they built that tile, we can deconstruct this and move the small power setup over. Actually, you know what? Let's build it down here. This way we can make sure we have enough runners for it. I think we are okay to deconstruct all of those. We'll put in 3 of those so that we can do 12,000. if we want all of these to run, you know, let's do this an easier way. $240 times 8. 1920 is how much is running on this line alone, which I guess I could have just looked at the line and seen the potential load. This is only making 12. How many of these can I use before it gets to 12? So we could do almost 3 gases at one time with 3 dupes running on this. Now, power is going to be changed, so I'm going to go like this. That's how that's going to be added to it. Transformer is going to be moved down here as well, which will be powered from the left side, and I guess we'll go straight through here, or around. I don't know how we're going to power it just yet, but we'll figure it out. Right now they're going to put in what power lines they can do. And we're gonna want this. Deconstruct all those. Once they build those 2 power lines in, we'll deconstruct these. They should be able to reach both of them right now. Oh, we got some debris inside here. I just got rid of all the stuff over on this side. Alright, let's build it back in. We actually can just do that. And empty this out. Oh, don't sweep this up. Hopefully we can do this without any issues. Okay, we're at the point where we can start building the tiles back in yet again. And in terms of them sweeping stuff at the bottom of the base, they actually finished what the auto sweepers can't grab. They should be able to build this from right here on the ladder. They shouldn't have to get inside. We're pretty much just moving the gases back over. Let's do a regular pod for some hexalin fruit. And at the once our autosave is done, we're also going to do a prediction pod. Alright, let's do the prediction. We have 30 points in bottoms, which does seem to be the most common thing we have. Hopefully you win. Unfortunately, this is a building. That's done. We will start the next prediction in about 7 minutes. And then we will do that prediction at the end of the stream. So what this means is that I can put a tile right here. Right there. Power lines are in the way, but that's actually going to get moved. Might as well fix the power setup now. We have one battery on this line. Let's put 2 batteries. So I'll put it like that. Let's put the power line right there. Oh, wait, no, oh, wait. The whole point of us putting this here was so that we could go below it. We're actually going to this and building it over. And then going straight up into here. Alright, let's send Curious Sputnik. Back to over here. Destination is further away than this one. Alright, these are gonna have to be set on a 9, because I'm getting tired of waiting for the oxalate to just show up. Hopefully putting it on a 9 means that they take the oxalate out of the... Where did all of our puffs go? Why do we not have a single puff here? Okay, that's an issue. They only eat gases, so even... They don't get fed anything. And then the ones down here are also dead. We're gonna have to hope for a puffed egg in our regular blueprint thing. I have no idea what happened to that puffed. Do we even have puffs on Persephone? Or did I kill them all? We would see them floating around. The only things I see floating around are the bees. A beehive from over here broke. There was a hive right there, and it's just gone. I don't see any puffs over here. None of the other asteroids we went to have puffs. So we're either going to have to discover our remaining planets, because we should get a total of 8, which means that we have another 3 more to discover. It's either we find one on one of the other asteroids, or we get it through the pod. We now don't need any of this. What am I doing? Why am I up on the ladder instead of just... Oh, I can't get to there. That makes sense. So we're going to put this oil right here, where that insulated tile is currently. We probably should do the carbon dioxide pit first. Let's set that up first. And we're gonna do this by going right here, which will require this tile for the moment. Relocate this to here instead. Still needs us to move the power. We're probably never going to need to bring the carbon dioxide out, but just in case, I'll set up the pumps. Once I do 5 more things of power, we can get rid of this power spine. Actually, we can get rid of it now. We don't need to connect it on both sides. Now that I'm looking at this, I probably didn't need to move everything over. Because of how I'm able to do it this way. I was more worried about getting down here to get the water, but we could just do this over here, which means I'd get rid of this vent and put a tile there. The main issue I guess I had from the beginning was the power network was all in the way. This gas reservoir could be moved as well. That's kind of blocking things, but we could put it where the transformers are, because it's 5 blocks wide. It would fit this space, but still allow us to break that. Yeah, I did not do this in the best way. Anyway, we'll still build this. I think off stream I will move it all back to where it was, but leave the power setup down here. Where were you putting that gas? Oh, I forgot gas. We need to deconstruct these and do the liquids. I wish I could set one up and do copy settings, but instead I have to do this individually for each one. That'd be a very nice quality of life thing. But alas, we don't have that yet. There we go, this power transformer is connected in, so let's deconstruct this one. And then we only have this setup left to move once we can get more stuff down here. How are we doing at the bottom? All the sweeping. We're getting it pretty cleaned up, actually, looking at this. There wasn't that much stuff left for it to move. There's definitely a lot of debris down here, but it looks like it's just one thing, maybe two things in one tile. This has bleach stone. Sweep that up. Over here, there's about 2 or 3 items. A lot of this stuff is oil just left on the ground. This has the largest area now. We're getting better. Alright, what I'm gonna do for over here is I'm gonna mop this up, move it in here, but not do anything with it. And then we're gonna close this off so that I can get the stuff down here fixed. We're only gonna need 2 more tiles, which I can build both at the same time because we're deleting the gas, we're not trying to save the gas. There we go, that's now completely red. Not that bottom tile. This is now all ready for us to get in here and actually build the carbon dioxide thing. Which we need the oil for, that they're not doing yet. So I probably have too much stuff going on. Why does that look like it? Why does it have oxygen in here again? Because down here I didn't move the oil first before I was building everything. Alright, let's rebuild 4 tiles, and I'll have to put this on a 9 since I'm not doing it yet. I did set them up, right? All 6 at least. They are all set up. I don't know what happened there. It is the start of next hour, so let's do this first. A little bit of gold. And our third prediction, which I didn't realize I never clicked confirm on the second one. Our third prediction, we're going to start right now. Is it tops, bottoms, buildings, decorations, or wallpaper? You guys have 10 minutes to decide, and then at the end of the stream, we'll open it and see what we get. Okay, they have 4 of the 6 oil things ready. And now they have all 6, so we can remove all of them and move them to their final resting place. Which, unfortunately, we need to deconstruct that. If we left that tile there, the oxygen that's in these 3 tiles would get pushed into there and then not be able to escape. So let's put all this on a 9. The debris can stay in there until we're done in here. Let's start building this out so that I don't have any gases in there. Empty, empty. 1 more tile. Actually, hold on. These should all be insulated tiles. There is a seal in chat if anyone wants that Pokemon. It is Gen 1. Alright, let's continue building this in. I apparently have it already. Alright, we have all this done. We can build that 1 tile and push the oil upwards, combining it with the rest of the stuff. And we can also deconstruct this and that, causing this to be ready for the power system here. For this one, we're going to do this, then move this over onto the right side, where it will tie into the power network like that, and like that. Once they build that tile, I can deconstruct these and allow people to get over to here. I'm pretty sure I don't need to get more oil, because that water's going to disappear and this oil's going to be pushed over. Okay, that should have gotten rid of all the gases in here. We do in fact have a vacuum. Build those in, grab this. At this point we can start piping it in here. So how do I want to go up? Probably right where it currently is, which follows this. And then later on we'll move it over. So I'm going to want you to be connected together. Just like that. You know what? Just so that they can build it right now, we'll do it up one. Then I need to wait for this to connect up there, so we're just going to go straight into here and reverse the bridge. Looks like they picked up everything. For some reason this says that it doesn't have power, so I went one, not enough. Once we build that wire in, we can get rid of this tile, pick up the debris, and then box this in. And then we can turn this stuff off and deconstruct it. I'm actually going to start doing that now. Is there any other cobalt? Oh, there is cobalt I can move. Little spider really close to my eye made it look really large. I don't know if you guys could see me kill it, but it was really large at first when I saw it. Probably came from the light that actually is built into the attic space. Alright, they built that one... not battery. They built the one power thing. Is this too far? It is not. They can build... They can only build 4 tiles up, but they can build... sorry, said that wrong way. They can only build 3 tiles down, but they can build 4 tiles up. So they should be able to still build that, as well as get the debris. They should have this now connected in, so we can get rid of all of that. Get rid of these. This is connected to over here, so we don't have to worry about that. This bridge needs to be flipped. So now all of that gas should be coming up here. Or I might as well add... a bridge just so that I can see. I want to take it out eventually at some point. Build that tile in, and then this is done. I could start working on this stuff. But fortunately, probably not going to be able to get this rocket out before we're done for the day. Begin launch sequence, get those 5 dupes out of here again. Get this taken care of so we can move over to here. We're actually not going to move over to there. Let's get rid of all this extra power stuff we don't need. We are going to move to right here so that I don't have to do as much work. We are going to have to deconstruct all of that so I can get into here and deconstruct all of this. We have a regular blueprint. We go with seed. I'm waiting for a puffed egg. We do have a nymph that got out. It does have a full amount of food, so we should be okay. We should be able to work a couple days over there in the other asteroid. This can now be emptied so that we can break into here, jump down, and then we're going to break over to the left after we put this tile in. We're going to do some weird shenanigans that should get this ready. But after a little bit, it should be reasonable. Actually, hold on a second. We don't need this tile here. We just need that tile. Now we can break this and get in over to here as well. So we want regular tile right there. We don't need that. That needs to be deconstructed so we can put this tile there. And then we get into some weird stuff that may be an issue. Hopefully I can sweep this. Or mop it, I mean. And then I can just move the one bucket over. Like if I put... Oh, I can. Look at that. Alright. Then we don't have to do as much as I thought we needed to do. Meaning I don't need to deconstruct that. I can actually put that back in. Debating on if I want to change up how the pipes over here work. Well, we're moving the storage, so the pipes are definitely going to change anyway because of the storage changing. So this weird bridge spaghetti is going to be different, regardless. Ah, the oil went up for some reason. Not sure why that happened, but alright. No. Oh, you took the ignis rock. That's different. Relocate. Relocate. 313, this should be... Whoa, that's more than it needs to be. No, it isn't. We do need 6,000 altogether. $6,000 divided by 4 is 1,500 per tile, which will not overpressurize the gas vents or flood the gas vents. Let's get all of that out of there. This is still a vacuum. I'm just gonna get in here and put another vent in there. How far are they? 1.5 cycles. Yeah, we're not gonna see the duplicants finish getting to that rocket, or getting to that asteroid. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change up what I had planned for this week. We are gonna play Oxygen Not Included one more time on Sunday. And then if all things go well, on Wednesday, we will be starting a new game on a new schedule. Let's queue them up to sweep all of this debris. Except for the oil right there. They also fixed all the power lines that were broken in this area. And I can get in here right now. If I do that and deconstruct this. Just so that we can empty the oil. Alright, if they can get that debris, we can close this off and have this done. There we go, that's that debris. We're gonna close off both, even if they don't get all the debris out of here. Because I want to move this oil over to this side so we can get back in here and open this. So now we really don't care about all of this stuff. If I just start deconstructing all of the automation over here. Let's start getting that all set up. Don't know why they're doing the ladder run to get over there. Curious Sputnik. It did get one tile closer, but it's still half a cycle away. Food is not an issue yet. But we do only get a few cycles of food over there. Now they're getting rid of all the automation. Actually, they got rid of it all already, except for these two things. Let's deconstruct them. And I want to sweep up almost all of this. I definitely want the plastic and the steel. I don't think we want anything else from there, because most of that is wood. We definitely want all of that. And to block that in. So now this is going to get over-pressurized, but the temperature should just continue to rise to the point where this water never has an issue. That will allow steam to combine up here. Which, in that case, we could just open this up and not have the metal tiles there. The metal tiles were to separate this steam from carbon dioxide. But we don't have that issue anymore. I still haven't built these, but I think it's because we prioritized the sweeping. So they're going around sweeping everything up more than building. That just cut off all this. And they did it. I'm gonna need to deconstruct that so I can get to this oil and open it. We are now at cycle 2200. So we're getting really close to the end of this this playthrough. Which means we should be very close to opening the temporal tear. So I hope you guys are excited for that. We'll probably get that done after we do our next side story. Our next duplicate dream. And that is the alarm for the end of the stream. So we're gonna finish up this. I'll definitely do all of this off stream. Actually, I can't do that because we have Sputnik over at Watelin. And we're going to be playing on Sunday, so we're not doing anything off stream. I do, however, want them to dig this out, and I think a digger's going to come over here before a builder places in the ladders. Luckily, Sophie was almost done building the ladder for them to dig that out. I'm going to click on Analyze, even though I don't think anyone can do that. This saltwater geyser is going to fill up this area. So I'm going to try to get that mod. Actually, hold on a second. I see a lot of graphite being capable of being picked up. If I do this, tell them to turn on everything, they may start filling that in by themselves. Alright, the oil is broken, so let's open this up and get in there. Made a mess. That's because this is... I need an automation thing that just... When it's landed on certain asteroids, it allows us not to be grounded. When it's at the home asteroid, it has to be grounded. Is there a way to do that? Does chat know at all? Suffocating. Gene, why is the rocket no gas? Rocket has gas. Rocket also has oxalate in the bin. So it's just Gino's outside and not close enough. We will end stream after closing this off with it fully completed. We also are not going to need that anymore, because we're not doing anything on this. We could leave that there, just so I can see how I want to get in there, but things are going to change. That is still set to be emptied. Let's do our blueprint. We have hatch eggs, but not pip eggs. So we'll do this instead and grab the iron. We don't have a way to get iron out of the base, do we? We have lime, coal. We don't have iron. Do they get dropped off at the same spot? They do. So if I were to move the wood over one more time... We're gonna go to right there. This is actually gonna go down, and then this goes up and over. This power goes over to here. Once they sweep all this up, we're good to go. That's not what I meant to do. I meant to look at Watelin, because I want to know where they're dropping the graphite when they pick it up. I saw someone drop it on the ladder. They dropped it on the ladder as well. So hopefully as they're dropping it, they're getting closer to the asteroid, and hopefully just dropping it right here. There's sandstone and copper, but no graphite right there. So I don't know. They finished that. Let's deconstruct this. They also opened the oil. They built this already. Alright, so that needs to be cut off. This needs to be set for none for the moment, because we're going to deconstruct this and follow this down. These two just need to be added together. And then this can be iron. Not ore, but regular iron. And this is the sort button, so we want iron here. I guess I could also put that into having all seeds as well. So we can get rid of this. Copper. Aluminum ore. We'll see what else is there. I think there's a couple seeds there. We do need them to build that conveyor rail, though. There we go. So now the iron should be able to leave the base. I know we don't need all 4 vents, but it makes me feel better seeing that there's 2 vents per gas pump. It's really only using the first vent. It's never going to use the next vent. What if we don't like change? Honestly, that hits home. I do not like change. Alright, what's going through here? Copper and aluminum. Okay. There is... Why is there dirt? Oh, we're picking up copper and aluminum from right there. I need a way for dupes to be able to grab from here, but the auto sweeper cannot. I also need a way to get up and over. I think if I put a tile right here, they can climb over it to get into here. But the auto sweeper won't be able to see anything below it. I hope. That looks close enough that they won't be able to do some weird shenanigans to get around it. I'm gonna let it keep doing weird things until it's done. Let's put that tile in. Alright. You can't see anything below you as a cone, so that'll work. We'll queue that up to have dirt as well as a thing. Wait a minute. Is that moving iron? No, it's copper ore. You don't... I'll look at that later. Okay, to finish this, let's mop this up, move it back over to here. Or should I move it over to here? We're gonna move it over to this side instead. So let's build that in completely. Once all this is done, that's where we're gonna end this stream. So long as we don't have to send the rocket home right away. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to do that. I should set this up to have both graphite and niobium being looked at all times, so that I know exactly how much is in these. Relocate this to over here. So this should be getting steam at the top, carbon dioxide at the bottom. It should never cool down because we're not getting rid of anything, so we're not deleting any heat. I can now begin to get rid of all of this. We'll do 3 tiles at a time to make sure they can reach everything, while also building the ladders. This is also going to allow us to have our ladder run going down again, so that we don't need this plastic ladder right here. We can move the plastic ladder over here. Also, everything on the right side of the base is picked up. We can start getting rid of all the unnecessary things we don't need. Including the entire power network we don't need. And all of this stuff. This alone, deconstructing all this, should... Actually, no, we should be having more power with it being not in use. So we're not actually gaining power by deconstructing anything. It's already given us more power. If that made sense, I hope it did. We are going to have to do a manual sweep to get everything picked up, though. Where are you going? What was I doing just then? Are we back? Stream went down for a second there. That was weird. Looks like OBS doesn't like me making clips in the middle of streaming. Either that, or I just had a internet tank. Because now it's looking fine. Alright, this I can do off screen. Why is this not being... Oh, I never queued it up, okay. They did pretty good at getting everything over here. Still doesn't seem like they're deconstructing everything, but maybe it's because they're doing other stuff. We are getting closer and closer to having this done. We only have 3 auto sweeper's working. We can deconstruct more, but I think after this autosave we should call it. Actually, no, we want to finish this off. We could call it right now, actually. Yeah, we're going to do it now. We have this set up. I'm going to leave it right here. Did we do our last prediction? We have not. So, I'm going to pause. In our last prediction, there is 30 points in tops. And it was another building. So we had wallpaper and then 2 buildings. Unfortunately, I'm stealing your points. The 2 times you chose clothing, it wasn't clothing. And then what we did most of today was just this. So this is what we're going to take the screenshot of. Zoomed in and everything. Hide the UI. Screenshot. Bring the UI back so I can save the game. We're going to do a hard save. And then we're going to do a hard save and quit, as well as going into the raid out scene. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to catch me live, I stream on Twitch on Wednesdays and Fridays from 10 AM EST to 12:30 PM EST, and on Sundays from 10 AM EST to 2 PM EST.